Hello all, welcome back to Yorker Tales. என்ன சொல்கிறது, இட்ஸ் பின் so many months. இன்ஃபேக்ட் நம்ம போட்டு 2022 பிகினிங்கில் ஒரு நியூ இயர் வீடியோ போட்டு அப்புறமா இப்போ தான் வி ஆர் ஸ்டார்டிங். அப்போது சீனியர் ஆதித்யா இருந்தார். நவ் வே பேக் டு ஜூனியர் ஆதித்யா வந்து ஐ டோன்ட் நோ ஒரு வருஷம் இருக்கும். ஸோ வெல்கம் பேக் டு ஜூனியர். கவி இருக்க முடியல என்னால். So we'll probably take some questions from whoever's watching. But Junior, the last we posted a New Year video since after that test win in South Africa. Like so much has happened, and I can't even begin to say what all has happened. We lost that series. Aprama we got whitewashed in the ODI series. Aprama the IPL happened. We got two new teams, Gujarat Titans and Lucknow Super Giants. Both made it to the playoffs. Our two giants of IPL, CSK and MI, got eliminated early in the first stage. Gujarat went on to win the IPL. Aprama we went to England. The Indian team toured England. We lost that one test, but we won the T20 and ODI series there. Aprama Asia Cup happened. And humiliating exit over there. And then we had the South Africa and Australia series. So, coming into the World Cup, we had lots of cricket. In fact, lots of T20 and tests more than ODIs, we can say. But coming into the T20 World Cup, what did you expect from our side? Coming into the T20, given our background in Australian conditions, how we've been acclimatized, what were your expectations?
See, to be honest, long story short, after all this that has happened, and I don't know what, 12, 13, 14 years of IPL, whatever it is, right? Still, end of the day, if you look at the team, right, I will go back to 2014. It was Virat Kohli. 2016 it was Virat Kohli. 2021 in fact he tried his level best against Pakistan. Still we did fall short. You can't blame him.
I mean, look, 2021 was a story of that two matches, and he somehow the one team he struggles actually in T20 World Cup is New Zealand. Though it's only the two times that he's played New Zealand, he's kind of struggled against them, but not putting it to him. We have 10 other guys in the team, and who don't seem to perform in the T20 World Cup. Who don't perform in T20 World Cup at all.
That's the question again, right? See, I mean, you can't discount Surya here. Obviously, Surya had a fantastic World Cup till now, in fact. So again, if see, the constant is Virat Kohli. Okay, and then we have a new addition in Surya Kumar Yadav, probably a matured Hardik. Maybe this game he didn't turn up, but still he is far bigger an asset. Fine, but
he bowled well, right?
Yeah, he did bowl well. Yeah. But again, question enna appadina, see, if we go back and see historically when we have performed well, or to be honest, we have performed well only in 2007. After that, it has always been a calamity. It's just Virat Kohli, or else we had a group stage exist. To be honest, that's what it was.
2012 da Kohli made his debut, and that's when he performed. From then to now,
from then on it was Kohli. Before that it was 2007, right? The question is 2007 nama vilandappo Gambhir was a constant, right? He chipped in with runs at the top all the time. Might not be big runs, but he was always there. And then Sehwag did
40s, 35 40s.
Absolutely, right? I mean, recent from 2014, if we take into account, our openers have been pathetic. See, honestly speaking, whatever said and done, I haven't seen Rohit rise to the occasion in T20 cricket.
He has. I mean, not in World Cup at least.
Yeah, it's been what, this is his fourth World Cup as an opener. So I haven't seen his impact, right? And then earlier it was 2012 did he open?
No, 2009 lo open panna, but 2010 la he came back to the middle.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I mean, after he became the permanent white ball opener அப்படின்னு சொன்னா கூட this is the fourth
Yeah.
World Cup.
Yeah.
Hardly he has
Fourth.
created an impact. But I mean, uh,
Yeah.
in fact, we haven't seen this as an issue because Rohito's
Mm.
partner was equally pathetic, right? Whoever it might be. So
Yeah.
I always thought, to be honest, now 2014-16 பார்த்துட்டு coming into 2017-18 அந்த பீரியட்ல I always believed hey, Shikhar Dhawan was actually not a designated T20 player or he can't complement Rohit because of
Yeah.
the same tok style, right?
Yeah.
So I thought and I believed seeing Rahul, this guy is the person who can step up. But oh my god, the way he is taking the game against a stronger opposition, it looks pathetic.
Actually, would it,
I just don't understand.
Junior, Ipo, I can stop you right here, and I can claim, and maybe you can claim. I'm not sure if we can claim right now, but we can still claim that his game is much better than it is. It is way better than it actually looks like right now.
See, again, technique, temperament, everything, you can put it into a basket and keep bragging about it, right? But at the end of the day, you turn up against Pakistan, you turn up against South Africa, you have to show that you have got something, right?
Yeah.
See, the problem is Rahul வந்து it's not like suddenly வந்து he's going at a flow and then he's getting cut short by a bad shot. அப்படிலாம் இல்லை. He's literally not finding his feet. See, ஒரு 20-25 அடிச்சுட்டு he throws his wicket away and we say, hey, come on, he's a better player. I understand. Single digit, he's not able to என்ன சொல்றது இன்னும் தாண்ட முடியல. I mean, what is he exactly doing? See, against Netherlands, it was horrendous. See,
Yeah.
I mean, இங்கேயாவது ரபாடா சொல்லு, நோக்கியா சொல்லு, பார்னல் கூட எடுத்துக்கோப்பா, சரி வச்சுக்கோ, பார்னல்னு வச்சுக்கோ. அங்கே ஷஹீன் ஷா அஃப்ரிடி, என்ன சொல்கிறது, நசீம் ஷா, நீ யார் வேணாலும் வச்சுக்கோ, ஓகே, இவங்கெல்லாம் டீசென்ட் பவுலர்ஸ். பட் எகெயின்ஸ்ட் நெதர்லாண்ட், இன்ஃபேக்ட் இட்ஸ் நாட் லைக் அவன் வந்து 3 balls-ல 9 அடிச்சுட்டு அவுட் ஆகல. ஹி டுக் இனஃப் டைம் அகெயின். பட் வாட் இஸ் ராங்? நீ வந்து ஆல் கன்ஸ் பிளேசிங்காக விளையாடல, right? You are going by your own style, you are taking your own time, that means you are settling in. But by no means after 15 or 16 deliveries still you don't seem like you have set in. Still he's very jittery, his feet is not moving, he's all over the place, his shot selection is poor. So if you are a quality batsman, where is quality? I don't think so he can take up pressure.
Let's go to a bowling lineup and what Jigs has asked a question over here. Will you back Ashwin or would you go back to Chahal? And we are looking at a very
see, இன்னைக்கு ரியலா do you believe Ashwin bowled the way he bowled because Miller was fantastic? Come on.
Today was I can't even put a finger on what today was. Was it just the fielding? Because let's face it, after 10 overs, yes, we fielded horrendously bad. That let's take things. Let's put a. We are calling a spade and saying our fielding was horrendous today, right?
Mm-hmm.
But after 10 overs when they were 40 odd for three and they just came with an intent after that 10th over. After the drinks break, they came with an intent, and you could see that intent from the word get go.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying that you did not try to defend 90 of the last 10 because they were that intent, or they came with that intent?
Come on, see, the intent was there. Agreed, right? They took the attack to us. Fine. The boundaries that Hardik conceded, it all looked like, hey, come on, there could be a mistimed shot, there could be an edge. And okay, even let me give it to our fielders to say they had a bad day, right? When Ashwin was bowling, right, first 2 overs, even leading up to the 3rd over, when he was bowling it short, when he was bowling it to, probably to their hips, the boundaries on both sides are so huge. There is no way Milner or Markram could have tried to take him on and they could have cleared the boundary. For sure. They weren't able to do it, in fact.
Yeah.
They tried. In fact, Markram was only able to successfully give a catch, which was dropped.
Yeah.
But then the, the run rate was creeping up. And what Ashwin did, he wanted to toss one up for Milner because that's the only way South Africa will be able to come close to the chase. It was very
Yeah.
evident. I mean, why
Yeah.
would you do that? Are you trying to take Milner's wicket by bowling full on a ground where the shortest boundary is the straight boundaries? I mean, it was comical to see him basically throwing the game away by giving it to the South African team. There is no way they could have taken Ashwin apart today with such huge square boundaries. They could not have, and they were not successful till then. Why
Okay,
would you go with
let me
that?
stop you right here, and I'm going to rewind a couple of matches back today, be it a different ground. We're going all the way back to the Bangladesh Zimbabwe game at okay, where was it? It was at Brisbane, and the way Mossadegh bowled that final over, he was just putting it right onto the batsman. He was pushing it right into them. He was not giving them any air. He was not giving them room. And yes, one ball went for six because of the pace he landed it. But the way he bowled that over was much better than what Ashwin. I mean, let's accept it. It was loads better than what Ashwin tried. Yes, there was one ball that he really gave air, but again, that was to a number 9 or something like that. And so, first of all, I'd like to ask you, what are your thoughts on the World Cup? Because you're seeing lots of upsets, as you would call it, but you have both the qualify groups. Group A is open, Group B is open. Both the qualify groups had lots of competition. How did you enjoy this World Cup so far?
I think this is much better than the previous edition for sure, right? See, the
I think the
long
previous one is
boundaries.
hands down the worst one.
Yeah, the worst. Yeah. So, I mean, in fact, the bigger boundaries are making it, excuse me, more exciting because this is no longer slam bang cricket, right?
Yeah.
Uh, you have to give respect to the bowler, you have to give respect to the conditions. So, there is some contest between bat and ball, and that's
Yeah.
fascinating to see. You know, if not a team like Zimbabwe or a team like Ireland, they would not have won games which we saw them win. Because if it is
Against
slam bang,
Pakistan and England. Yeah.
yeah, if it is slam bang, these folks know how to clear the boundaries with ease, right? Wherein teams like Zimbabwe or Ireland, they don't have such muscle in their batting unit, but they have decent enough bowlers who can push you towards a victory. But with smaller
Yeah.
grounds, with bigger badge, with tracks that are flat, right? If you that's why in the last couple of editions, wherein the pitches were a little tacky, if you don't win the toss in UAE, and then in Australia the pitches has some spice, you could literally see
Yeah.
the West Indies team falling apart because they know only one way to play, right? That is, it should be flat, and the boundaries should be a little inside, so that anyone
Yeah.
from the team can clear the boundary with ease, and the bowlers have no chance, right?
Yeah.
So this is no longer slam bang cricket. I think this is good for T20.
But if you had rewound, supposing the same World Cup had happened in 2016, right, when West Indies were the champions, you had Chris Gale, you had, okay, let's go back to 2012, the first time,
Mm.
where they were even better. Pollard and Russell were actually guys who could clear any boundary at that time, at their peak. Narayan and his mystery action, Gale, Marlon Samuels, the way he played both the finals. Uh, how do you think the West Indies of that period would have played on this ground?
See, it's very difficult. Again, it's almost like you are comparing cricketers from different era, right?
No,
Because I mean,
no. I see. Look, that's not what I meant. I meant supposing this World Cup had happened uh, 10 years back, where West Indies were the champions, right?
mhm.
How do you think How do you think those guys would have handled this?
See, again, if you say the World Cup would have happened in Australia, it's a little different. If the World Cup would have happened in Australia, which with pitches that are a little spicy, then hands down West Indies could not have won the World Cup. Even
Okay.
Chris Gale has no clue whatsoever when the ball starts to bounce or seam around. Uh, he's not a player who will survive that, nor Marvin
Yeah.
Samuels. I mean, Marvin Samuels is a great player. I'm not denying that, but uh, he's not a player who had that fantastic technique wherein he'll be able to weather the storm when the ball is seaming around and stuffs like that. So it's a very different ball game, right? And the Russells or Pollards, they always had a miss hit in them, which went over the ropes because of the smaller boundaries. When you
Okay.
play in Australia, when you play in Perth, if you have a miss hit, even if you have a good hit on the square boundaries, if you don't find the gap, it is going to get into someone's hand, right?
Yeah.
So I think they would have struggled. But looking back, 2012, who are the stronger T20 units? I don't see a lot of teams that were
Yeah.
so strong to compete. So still, West Indies might have made it, but I don't think it would have been as easy as what it was for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because look, in T20 World Cup history, no side has won a World Cup without losing one match, and I don't think now, except New Zealand and South Africa, everyone else has lost a game. So, I mean, uh, do you see it continuing this time as well?
I don't think any team is going to win the World Cup without facing a defeat. If see in a World Cup, until and unless you are that mighty Australian team of 2003 or 2007, right, wherein
Yeah.
you have players waiting in the wing who can come and still defeat teams who are seems to be challenging for you. Even the second team can come and win you games, right?
Yeah.
None of the teams have that kind of a muscle now. So obviously, there are chances that your best players will fail on few games. So wherein you would understand that okay, when they fail, what is the backstop we have? I will give you a classical example of 2011 World Cup. If we had approached that quarterfinal with Yusuf Pathan, we would have got eliminated. It was Suresh Raina who came in because we understood Yusuf Pathan was not able to do the job. We
Yeah.
failed on few games because he was not able to apply the finishing touch. So
Yeah.
we got in Reina, and then from there on, things changed. So a
Yeah.
defeat at times is also good if you learn. But the problem is
Yeah.
with BCCA and with the team management, post 2011, I don't think they are learning. It's almost like an ego game that they have. As in, hey, even if there is a defeat, we still believe this is the best team. It's
Yeah.
almost like we don't want to. It's not even accepting to the world. Some way or the other, they're not even accepting it internally because Vikram Rathore came out and said before this third game, two games where Rahul played is such a small sample size, and we are not going to change anything. See, no one is asking you to drop Rahul. The question is there a concern? If you admit it to say, hey, Rahul has to score runs, we expect him to do better, and we are trying to work with him, that's a different answer, right? Two games is too smaller sample size. Do you think in World Cup cricket 20 games like
No,
IPL?
it's not.
No.
But it's not only two games, right? It's not only the T20 World Cup where he's worried us. He's worried us in the Asia Cup, uh, both the times. Last T20 World Cup. Okay, last T20 World Cup
Yeah.
was his first, so maybe, yeah, sure, you can give him a little leeway. And, given our history of T20 openers since 2009, we haven't had quality openers in the side. So, yes, okay, you're giving him a little leeway for that. But, after 1 year and he still hasn't shown you a sign of confidence is probably the most worrying thing right now. Um, let's
I
get
don't
to.
know, man.
Huh?
I really don't know. I mean, see, again, if KL Rahul is going to come in and play five balls, score 12 runs, get out, I'm still fine with that. I'm like, okay, this guy has at least given us a jump start and he's out. Fine. You can consider form, you can consider back shot selection, whatever, right? But if you are going to consume 10, 12, 15 balls and
Yeah.
then basically you still struggle, You get out. And on the opposite side, there is a Rohit Sharma, who's no longer young. He's 35, haven't ever flourished in this bigger stage in T20 cricket, and he's still finding his feet. And then now it is like, hey, can Virat Kohli do it? Can Surya Kumar Yadav do it? And then can Hardik Pandya come and do something? But again, after Hardik Pandya, if you look at the team, DK hasn't done anything substantially on games that are of this magnitude. He has played against Bangladesh, he has applied finishing touches, he has played on some bilateral series, fine. But DK was never in his long lasted career was able to sulk up pressure
Yeah.
on the biggest stage and able to deliver, right? So today was one of those examples wherein he was all over the place. So
Actually,
what?
let's rewind to 2007, the game against South Africa, uh, where sure that catch was phenomenal. All right, that was one of the greatest catches of all time. But in that game as well, it wasn't DK who shined. It was Rohit
Yeah,
Sharma and MS Dhoni who had done the hard yards, and they had brought us to a
yeah,
winnable total. I'm sure you remember
true.
that. It was
True, absolutely. See, again, that's where this question arises, right? Till 2016, it was only Virat Kohli. Now you have added Sky to it and then a little bit of Hardik. But this won't win you games. See, until and unless one of the openers is going to come out and score some runs, wherein you see confidence in that, you are always going to struggle. Imagine, okay, we sail through this group. Where are we heading towards? Most likely New Zealand. When you run into New Zealand, I mean, even if there is something in the air, Bolt and Southey is going to exploit, right? If Rohit and
actually
KL Rahul are going to be all over the place, it's a
Actually,
it's
you can
a
forget.
rewind of
You can for,
2019.
you can forget Bolt and Southey. New Zealand are our arch nemesis in ICC tournament since 2003.
Exactly.
You- so even if Nisham had bowled a ball that is straight on stumps, Rahul is probably more likely to edge it onto the middle and off.
True. True. See, it's almost like it's written on the wall, right? You know what's going to happen. See, the concern is today when he was facing Parnell, he had a fantastic flourish to hit a six.
Yeah,
Great shot, right? The very next
yeah.
ball, you could have just tucked and ran a single. Why are you consuming so many deliveries? For no reason at all. If you can't
Actually, today
strike at least 100,
the way he got out, I don't know what he was trying. Was he trying to think that he's Kane Williamson? He can just glide it between slip and keeper or something that can go for four. I don't know. I mean, just facing it to slip and getting out like that, I really didn't understand this shot. And I'm sure a billion others wouldn't have either. And I mean, today, considering it was Pakistan also supporting us, a billion and 2 billion probably people supporting us, I'm sure no one understood that shot.
see, when you are out of form, right? When you are out
Yeah.
of form, you do see again. The case of KL Rahul is it's a little surprising. Is he out of form? We never know, right? In fact,
Hmm.
Anil Kumble has given some inside info on that, right? I'm sure he's not going to come to the outside world and bluff about whatever interactions he has had with KL, right? Uh, he has come out and said in Kings 11, no one told him to play in a different way. We always told him to grow and express himself. It's him who decided that I have to stay long. So once I am in the field, I will decide the way I wanted to go about. That is one aspect of it, right? And then the second point, he said, we never knew which KL is going to turn up today. See, that's a big problem. When you are
Yeah.
playing at this level for no reason whatsoever, if you're going to wake up and say, I don't feel like today is my day, it could be a semi final, it could be a final. You can't be a player who will turn up and then give up before you even enter the field.
And then all this time, we actually thought that's when his game had changed, and it was under a defensive coach. So we kind of tried putting one and one together, and we tried making a two, and finally we find out
Yep.
that that was it's not exactly a catalyst, but it was completely different thing, and he's just coming up on his own. He's just dictating his own terms to others.
Exactly. Exact. I have seen this, in the South African series when he was captaining the team in Test, ODA, whatever, right? When things are not going his way, the way his shoulders drop, the way he looks clueless in the field,
Yeah.
that's terrible, right? And it's not like he was playing a World Cup and in semifinals everything capitulated. It was a normal one-day series. The way he looked, it was as if he is no longer involved in the game or he's clueless. That's when I thought, okay, you can't make this guy a captain because he gets lost. And today, when he was playing those 10 or 12 hour deliveries, except for the shot, which was majestic, everyone will think, wow. But the rest of the deliveries he faced, he was all over the place. He had no clue whatsoever what is he doing. That's
Actually,
surprising, man.
do you remember during the Asia Cup? Uh, I think it was the first game. No, it was the game against Hong Kong, where Kohli and Rahul. Okay, Kohli was just coming into a little form. He needed a little time to probably catch his rhythm and all that. But KL Rahul, that shot, he was playing like he was playing a random ODI game against Hong Kong, and then the one ball that he hit a six was a free hit, and people thought, wow, this guy can really bat. And then the remaining balls around him, he was like, what's happening here?
Seriously.
And
Seriously.
if this is against Hong Kong, you can imagine how it's going to be against much more quality teams.
That's what that's what we all thought, right? At least we spoke to ourselves, saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
what is this guy gonna do?" And then you go back to a couple of home series. We play against Australia, we play against South Africa, decent bowling attacks. He was able to taunt them. He was able to score runs. Again, this brings us back to the point which Kumble said. Maybe he woke up that day and then he found that he can do whatever he wants and he will be successful. And then he turns up to the World Cup. He gets up every day thinking he can't do it. How do you bank on a player where you are not sure it's not the form, it's not the technique, it's not the temperament, it's just him? And what is up with him? You never know, right? And that's bad, man. And you already have one in Rohit. He seems to be a player like that. One day he turns up and he looks like he's the master of the game. The very next day, for some reason or the other, today look at his shot. The ball was actually kissing, the sticker of his bat. I was so surprised. I was so surprised. In fact, he did the same last game. Netherlands dropped him. The same shot he played. So you have two people playing this way. It's very difficult, man.
Actually, I'd like to kind of go inside the brain and find out, because Kohli and Rohit are probably the two most experienced guys in Australia. They, I,
Mm.
2007 is when Rohit came to Australia, I think 2007 8,
7
and
8, yeah.
yeah, and Kohli was here since 2010 in Australia, I think
11,
11, 10,
11,
11,
12
12.
somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, and but Kohli, how is it that 10 years on and he's still looking the same good Kohli in Australia, whereas Rohit, wh- he just seems to come good every time it's a bilateral series. He'll come in. Australia will look like a part of a dust particle at his foot or something. காலில் தூசி இருக்கிற மாதிரி சொல்லுவாங்க தமிழ்ல. It's the same thing that
Right.
Rohit does. He bashes any bowler in Australia. But how is it that this time it just fails him?
See, again, the question is right. As a T20 opener, see, Rohit has given a statement out loud saying that, hey, I was never a natural opener, right? So I do take my time because I can't find gaps. That's not the way I play, right? So for him, his pull shot was always his asset. He was able to taunt bowlers when they were a little short, and then with that
Yeah,
confidence, he was able to drive and then
yeah.
not find gaps, but probably pierce the infield to a little extent. right? That's why you don't see those what do you say, beautiful cut shots, nor some
Yeah.
on drives. You don't see that with Rohit, right? So with age, your reflex will also go down. That's one aspect of it. But I'm not surprised that Rohit is playing the way he's playing. It's not Australia, it's not South Africa, it's not India, it's not UAE, right? It's always been the same with Rohit, the opener in T20 cricket when he turns up to a World Cup. He was never able to sustain any form nor rhythm in his game.
All
So,
right. Now, if I
why
tell
is
you
this a
one thing,
surprise?
where now I can go back to you and tell you right now that Rohit, whenever he's batted at the middle order in T20 World Cup, he's always been a success. And the
Yep.
one time he batted as an opener in 2009, he was successful, but that was against the likes of Ireland and Bangladesh. But
Mm.
whenever he's batted as a middle order batter in the World Cups, he has always risen to the occasion. Be it 2007, be it 2010, be it 2012. It
Right.
was in 2014, uh, yes, 2009, but 14, 16, 21, and 22. As an opener, he fields against the top 8 sides, and he scores against the sides like Bangladesh, Netherlands, Scotland, Afghanistan. Uh, I'm going to rewind to last year, and I'm going to point out that after the New Zealand match, Rohit and KL Rahul bullied, and I'd like to emphasize the word bullied. Afghanistan, uh, Scotland, and Namibia. Sure, maybe Afghanistan I shouldn't take into account because they're actually a much better bowling side than many other teams, and not everyone is able to bash them around. So I'm probably
Right.
going to keep Afghanistan out of this, but Scotland and Namibia, and Virat Kohli could have easily come out and he could have easily stat padded against them. But no, what did Virat Kohli do? He sent Surya Kumar Yadav and Ishan Kishan all above him. Let them at least get this time to get into the groove in an international tournament, you know. And I think that result is what we see in Surya Kumar today. He's the way he played today, uh, outstanding.
Mm.
But I'm going back to last week. I know we haven't done a pod in a long time, and I'm going to use that as an excuse to go back to the Pakistan game. Uh, what were your mind? What was running through your mind throughout that game?
See, one thing I was pretty certain is if there is one person who can take the game deep, that was Virat Kohli. And having seen his track record against Pakistan in T20 cricket, I always thought he would be able to take us close.
Hmm?
But of course, their bowling in these conditions are fantastic. They have the right set of bowlers. They have the right
Yeah,
leg spinner. In fact, with Shadab Khan, they've got all the bases covered. So even though Virat Kohli could do what he can, but I still felt it was such a difficult game to get over the line because it was a steep target, right? Uh, so to be honest, I didn't believe we will make it once Hardik got out in that over. I thought it's going to be very difficult because,
hmm,
again, with DK, he was never ever trained to be in such situations on games of this magnitude. He hasn't got so many opportunities, but whatever opportunities he has given or he has got, he has always thrown it away. So I was very circumspect. Uh, but the game was a cliffhanger for sure, no doubt
yeah,
about it. But it exposed some serious flaws in our team, some big flaws with our batting unit. It just took us back to all those World Cups where we struggled, huffed and puffed, and then it was one man who sailed us through. It was just a carbon copy of that. Someone else playing along with him, like MS have done it from time to time. 2014 or 2016, MS would have tagged along with Kohli, and Kohli will, basically be the architect, and MS would be along with him. Likewise, it was Hardik that day, right? In
yeah,
fact, Sky was able to score some quick runs. That's fine, but again, If you look at that, I saw a similar pattern, but I was so overjoyed. I didn't want that to, basically come and belittle whatever achievements we have done on that day. But once that was done, we headed towards the Netherlands game, right?
Yeah.
Again, what I did see was a pattern wherein we struggled for the first six
Mm.
overs.
Yeah.
It's not just the openers have got out. No, that's not the point. It's the struggle which is very evident. We were not able to break free, and then Kohli has to settle in, slowly accelerate, and then it was Sky who took them apart. If not, I don't think we would have gone on to 170, 180. So just clubbing both the games together, it was just two people who were able to take us to the scoreboard that we were able to go to, right? And no one will speak about this. People are like, oh, Rohit Sharma has got runs. But those runs were not on a merit basis. A easy catch was dropped, and it was such a, I don't know, it was an innings that didn't have a lot of substance. He had a couple of good shots, and then he was trying something, he was not able to execute. So again, on these games that we won, I'm asking you this: what do you think is the takeaway? Kohli playing good is a known factor, right? Sky being one of our best, if not the best T20 player for us right now, is a known factor, right? So, in batting department, honestly speaking, we know these two players will perform. If they don't perform, we won't survive. But apart from that, what is the exact takeaway? Why do you think we should speak about it, or we should just paper over the crack?
Actually, when you were talking about MS and Virat, uh, I'd like to weigh in and say that while there are lots of talks over MS's international T20 batting, his strengths and weaknesses, yes, we can all agree that he's nowhere in international what he is in IPL. But at the same time, MS is not dud with the bat in international T20s. In fact, he's played quite well in so many games till 2015, 16, I'd say. And of course, in 2017, 18, he scored a couple of 50s. But ideally, he is not a very bad bat. He was always there to chat with Virat during this. He always ended up helping finish the innings somehow or the other. In fact,
Mhm.
if Virat is alone or MS is alone, is actually a little weaker than saying that both of them finishing games together. Both of them finishing games together was probably the best thing that T20 international cricket could have been for India.
Mhm.
But it wasn't too long. We had that only till 2019, but it was
Mhm.
good while it lasted. Uh, but coming back to your question, um, I'd also like to ask you a question. What is Deepak Huda's role?
See, again, the question is they were trying to replace someone like Jadeja, right? So, Jadeja, the batsman, I don't think Aksar nor Huda could replace, because
Hmm?
Jadeja, the batsman, was one of the best white ball uh, cricketers for us for the last couple of years or so,
Yeah,
right? So, I don't think you can
yeah,
replace him that way. But if you take Aksar the bowler is couple of levels above Jadeja the bowler, at least in T20 cricket, because of
agreed.
his variations,
Yeah,
trajectory,
yeah,
speed, etc. Right? So with Huda, see again today when they got in Huda, I thought one they are going to give him couple of overs wherein I did think Ashwin would struggle, uh,
hmm,
because again he's not going to get a lot of turn, and he's not someone who
yeah,
can bowl flat, right? He tends to try something and then it doesn't come off good, so he might
yeah,
concede, and then I thought Huda will chip in. As a batsman, again, Huda is not a finisher. Neither Aksar is. Aksar actually his I would rate his batting a little less than Ashwin. On these big grounds, there is no way Aksar is talented enough or skilled enough to you know, move the field around and then chip in runs. He has couple of slog shots, which is inevitably going to end up in someone's hand, right? So I don't rate Aksar the batsman. Huda the batsman is better, but again, if you think he's a finisher, I don't think so, because Huda played at number three, number four. He got you runs. So today, when
Yeah.
you brought him in, you should have given him at least a over or so, wherein you know you don't want Ashwin to bowl all those 4 overs. I thought that
Yeah.
is the reason he was in. Lot of left-handers. You wanted something. I didn't think at number seven he's going to do anything with the bat. What role do you see for Huda in that position? And today he got a chance, but again, uh, with the ball moving around with so much amount of pace and bounce, when was the last time Deepak Huda even played on such kind of wickets?
No, he
I didn't
hasn't. In
expect
fact,
anything
that's
from
why.
him today as a batsman.
In fact, we were discussing on the group, and we said that after that game against Ireland, he did get injury, and he was
Mhm.
out for some time, and he's not really got enough match practice to come straight to the World Cup.
True.
So I actually pity him a little. He's not really had that support that he required. He
Mhm.
required, but overall, right now we are going to face Bangladesh and Zimbabwe at Adelaide and MCG
Mhm.
respectively. Do you see any changes in our lineup, or do you forget one? Do you
By the
see any
looks
changes?
of it, I think DK might not be fit, at least not for the next
Yeah,
game. It looked like he was in a lot of pain and he was just hobbling around the field when he even walked
yeah,
out. So I don't think he'll be fit for the next game. So punt is gonna be in inevitably. Uh, See, the question again is, if you fit in punt at number six, number seven, you are actually doing injustice to him. You are doing injustice to the team. There is no way punt is going to flourish as a finisher, right? See, people hate this comparison of putting punt on par with Gilchrist. It's not putting punt on par with
yeah,
Gilchrist. Uh, the point is, they are players who have a similar pattern of play wherein they clear the infield and
yeah,
then they get you runs, right? Uh,
yeah,
Gilchrist at number six, number seven in Test cricket always worked because Test cricket is about setting attacking field, and he was able to break the shackle.
yeah,
Similar thing is what Rishabh Pant does. And the problem with a
yeah,
lot of people is punt is gonna get two, three, 4 games, and then people are like, "Oh, we haven't seen that." I mean, see, you cannot put a player under pressure all the time and then tell him if you don't deliver, you are axed, right? That's not the way you play the game. You give him enough freedom, you give him enough support, and then you see how he goes about his game. See, for
yeah,
example, I will take you to Josh Butler. Josh Butler came into England's setup in 2012, somewhere, right? Josh
yeah,
Butler
yeah,
became Josh Butler by 2015, 16, 17. He became more consistent by 2018, and then 2019, he was able to deliver that in World
he's a
Cup.
beast. Yeah, he's
Yes,
a beast. He's a white ball beast.
yes. So they stuck with him for what, 7 years. He showed promise, but he was never consistent. His shot selection was poor. He was growing into the game, right? So,
Yeah,
but talent was there, potential was there, right? Uh,
yeah,
the same thing you see with a player like Rishabh Pant. So, if you are investing in him, wholeheartedly invest in him and then tell him this is your role, and he can clear the infield with ease. He has got the shots in his
yeah,
books, but he's a little erratic.
yeah,
So if you are investing in him, invest in him by giving him the proper role. Right now, to answer your question, the first change is going to be Rishabh Pant. But where
yeah.
will they use him? That's again the million-dollar question.
So now we are likely going into that game with let's say that Rishabh Pant is going to open, right? Let's say he is going to open. So let's say you're pushing one by one down the order. It's either KL or Rohit at 3. It is Virat at 4. And then you have Surya at 5. And then you're pushing Hooda down at 6, which is even worse for him and for us.
See, again, the question is this, right? We don't have a lot of batsmen in our lineup,
Yeah.
to be precise. Rishabh Pant was supposed to be our third choice opener, right?
Yeah.
So now, if you are bringing him in and then KL is struggling, and I don't know, Rohit at 35, I don't think he's going to ever improve, man. I've seen him for 10 years right now as an opener in T20 cricket, so I don't have a lot of hope.
15, 50. Yeah. Yeah. 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest. So
Yeah.
if I want to change the dynamics, bring in some enthusiasm to the first 6 overs to say, hey, there is some spark. The only option is Rishabh Pant, right? And the way KL is struggling, and then leading into the knockout stages, of course, you still have to win to be there.
Yeah.
But if you want to stamp your authority, and if you want to show to New Zealand or anyone else that, hey, we are dynamic, that we can change things when things are not working, you have to put Rishabh Pant at the top. But I would not do the mistake of pushing VK or Sky from the position they are in, right?
Yeah.
They have flourished.
Uh,
Keep them
that's why
there.
I'm
Push
coming.
Rahul to
That's why
number
I
5.
got to. That's what I was coming to, because Rahul at number 5 is only a tried and tested experiment at ODIs, and he's done well. To be fair to him, he has done well over there. Uh, but how do you see him at 5 over here?
Uh, see, the one aspect is when the ball is moving around, it's nipping back in. He seems
Yeah,
to be all over the place, right? And he's clearly not in his best mood, as Kumble says. Maybe the
yeah,
days are not working for him. So
yeah,
why not sit in the dugout, right? See to that the other players take the game. They have contributed a little bit. Now, when your turn comes, it's not going to be the new ball that's going to seam around, right? You might be
yeah,
in a better position. Who knows? Next game, he might come in at number 5 at a better position and then tonk couple of balls, get into a zone, score some runs. It's better than being stuck along with Rohit as an opener, wherein both of them are not able to flourish, and then you keep going down the road wherein you are almost heading towards a limbo. That's how I saw Kale today. He had no because Wayne Parnell is not Shaheen Shah Afridi. He's not Mitchell
yeah,
Stark, right?
yeah,
And definitely he is not Mohammad Amir, wherein you have to be so cautious about playing Wayne Parnell, right? He has a lot of limitations. He's not going to bring the ball back in.
yeah.
What are you worried about facing Parnell? Okay, I will give you the first over. But after that, why are you so circumspect about facing Wayne Parnell?
I was
Right?
actually quite relieved after the toss that he didn't say Marco Janssen is coming in for Keshav
Yeah,
Maharaj.
yeah. We would have got only 90 or 80 if Marco Jensen was there. Even I
Yeah.
thought.
So
Even I thought the same.
so yeah. So anyway, now that we've got our thoughts clear about the World T20, uh, post the World T20, we will have lots of things to do. Of course, the all important IPL auction will. We have to announce the releases and all by November 15th.
I'll tell you something, man. The curious case of Rohit Sharma. It took him till 2018 or 19 to come out as opener in Mumbai Indians colors, right? But he was well positioned as an opener in Indian colors. I always wondered why. It's not that Mumbai had always better players, right? But with Mumbai, he had to play 14 games. He was always
Yeah.
exposed as an opener.
14 plus, let's be fair, Mumbai were a great team. So
More,
16,
more or less.
17 games,
True,
and yeah,
true. Most of the
they were
time,
playing the
he was
playoffs
all
every
over
year.
the place.
Yeah,
He could not
yeah,
sustain, right? When
yeah,
it came to Indian series, every now and then in the bilateral series, we faced Sri Lanka, we faced a lot of West Indies attacks that were toothless because there is no Narain to begin with.
Bangladesh.
They were
Yeah.
bowling some medium pace bowlers and whatnot. And we don't play Pakistan, right? And then you go to England. England will have a Markwood injured all the time, or they will have someone called Ole Stone or someone who will bowl first couple of overs to get injured, and then you will have the Sam Currans and all those medium-paced bowlers bowling on flat tracks. So obviously you are going to crunch, right? And time and again, that's what was happening. But when you go to World Cup with ICC creating the tracks, there is always something in it for the bowlers, at least for the first few overs. And
Yeah.
when it comes to that situation, Rohit was caught up in two minds. Should I
Yeah.
score or should I sit back? And then eventually, even when he sits back, he gets out to a decent delivery.
Yeah.
Right? The curious case of Rohit Sharma, an IPL legend, but was never a T20 opener. Still now he's not a. People will talk about records, this, that. Show us impactful innings when you are playing big tournaments. Rohit is still that player. I still consider him the player for 50 over cricket. I think he
Yeah.
has mastered how to be a solid player when it comes to 50 over format, even without being a proper opener.
We did see that in 2019, right? We did see that in 2019.
Exactly.
Going to England 500. I mean, let's face it, no one is ever going to score 500s in a World Cup, and no one
Absolutely.
has. Be it whatever track, be it whatever generation, no one is going to achieve that.
Absolutely. And this IPL is making me sick and tired because you are playing that league to eventually select players who you already have decided that they are the ones who are going to make it, right? On what
Yeah.
logic, on what basis? Don't you think there are better T20 openers in India at this point in time? Have you given them enough? Okay, after so many debacles in our World Cup, right? You still haven't done a postmortem to say, hey, only Virat Kohli played, the rest didn't. Who didn't? And then, have you ever gone back to the opening pair and said, hey, what have you done? Right? They were so ready to sack Dhawan on the cusp of World Cup 2021,
Yeah.
right? And still now Rohit is there. So when we speak about IPL, it all
And
boils
actually,
down to this.
if we think about it, Dhawan would have probably done a much better job in 2021 than our openers did.
See, to be honest, see, I respect a player like Jason Roy or Josh Butler. Even if you
Yeah.
fail, you fall on your feet with glory because you adopted a method to play. You stand by that, you play your shots, you get out. Fine, fair enough. That's okay.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, we have players who say we will come aggressive, and then suddenly you say we will play. What do you call that? We will alter our game according to situation, and then conditions. This, that. You say so many things, right? But at the end of the day, if you don't come out and then utilize those 6 overs, then do you have someone like Tim David, Glenn Maxwell, I don't know, Russell, Pollard? You don't have muscle in your lower middle order. It's all on Hardik, right? Sky plays 360,
Yeah.
understood. It's all on Hardik. If not for Hardik, do you look at DK and you think, oh, DK is going to come and score 4 sixes? Or leave
Actually,
DK after
our
DK? Akshar Patel, seriously?
actually our best finishers are right now Virat, Sky, and Hardik, because they're the
Exactly.
only guys who stay till the end and they finish, and they do it quite
Exactly.
effectively at that. It's not like some half baked finish, where you're like 160 on
True.
any ground is
True.
for Australian grounds 160 is enough. But if you're going to another place, they will ensure that you get to 185. They will ensure you get to 210. depending on the ground size and everything.
See,
Uh,
last time, when was our opening pair solid enough to post a 50 plus score before one of them got out?
Actually, I remember that second game against Pakistan, the Asia Cup, where they both showed intent and they both showed that they can do it. Actually, this is the problem of Indian cricket. We have guys in Test. We had Pujara Rahane. Here we have Rohit KL. They always show that they can do it, but why they don't do it consistently has always been the biggest question mark.
I really don't know, man. We every time when the topic comes around IPL, right? The one thing that I don't like is if you have the best T20 league in the world, either you select from that. Still, if you fall flat, I totally understand. You went by what you said was the best you have, but right now you keep selecting a group of players who you think can do the job immaterial of whether they perform well in IPL or not, and then you build a team around them. See, again the question is, oh okay, fine, till 2022 it was Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, right? And now, post this World Cup, I think a lot of people have already said it out loud. The T20 team is drastically going to get changed. True, many of them will opt out to play this format, right?
Yeah.
But the question is, 2021 World Cup, you played couple of bowlers in Rahul Chahar and Varun Chakravarti, right? For
Yeah.
everything that is said and done, the World Cup was dictated by toss. They did not bowl bad. They were
And they were
not
not,
horrendous.
and they were dropped at the drop of a like the drop of a like a boiled potato, to be more precise.
Exactly. You asked two players who are actually not the reason for your downfall. You stuck to the
Yeah.
same openers. You literally did that. You stuck to a Bhuvneshwar Kumar who was actually poor in that series and leading up to this World Cup. In fact, before a couple of series happened, he was horrible. He
Yeah.
wasn't that great. Wherein in England the ball was moving all along, he was great. But then, if not, he was horrible. But you did not drop him. You did not drop your openers, right? In fact, Hardik only got better. That's fine. That's okay. And then you replaced Rishabh Pant with DK. Fine, fair call. I don't think Pant did a lot of justice to himself to stay. That's fine. You brought in DK, but you changed your spinner back to Chahal from 2021 World Cup till you reached Australian shores. And then you decided I will go with Aksar and Ashwin. My only question is, what kind of planning is this? How you know you are going to play in Australia? That's not going to change. To some extent, you know the bigger grounds, you know the conditions, you know everything, right? If your plan was to play two finger spinners, I will give it to you. Fine, Jadeja was there before Aksar. Did you play Jadeja, Ashwin? Where did Ashwin suddenly hop into the team? If Ashwin was supposed to be your lead spinner, he should have stayed post 2021 World Cup. You dropped Ashwin, and then few games leading up to the next couple of bilateral series, you saw how indifferent Chahal is. You weren't hopeful. You brought in Ashwin again. You don't know why you dropped him. You again brought him in, but still you played Chahal. In Asia Cup, they clearly was a sign to say Bishna is better than Chahal, but you forcefully dropped Bishnoi after his good performance against Pakistan team. You played Chahal, you lost your games, you went back to India, you played couple of bilateral series, you played with Chahal, you are not able to
Yeah.
reap any rewards, and then you decided, oh, okay, I will still stick with Chahal, but I will play Aksar and Ashwin. Okay, the question is, you have IPL, you have everything available at your doorstep.
Yeah.
How can any team management create an atmosphere wherein you have no clue whatsoever who's your lead spinner? I will tell you, Pakistan has Shadab Khan, right? Sri
And
Lanka,
they
in fact, has
they're
Hazaranga.
placing they're placing trust on Mohammad Nawaz as well.
Exactly. for good reasons, bad reasons, whatever. But I will strictly speak about lead spinners, as in
Yeah,
wrist spinners
yeah,
who are the lead spinners. Uh,
yeah,
Shadab Khan stays there. Hazaranga stays there. Australia are clearly going with Adam Zampa. Doesn't matter however good Agar does or not. One spinner, that
yeah,
is Adam Zampa. They have said that out loud. Uh, New Zealand have always, they have stuck to Santner and Sodi combination. Adil
yeah.
Rashid for England, right? And then
Keshav
if we
Maharaj
have
for
to, yeah, one way or the other, it is Keshav Maharaj who always remains constant, and he's not a
and
bad
Kamresh
bowler at
Shamsi.
all in T20 format,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm actually
Shamsi
very
is in and
surprised at
around.
the consistent. I'm very surprised at his consistency in being quite good
Exactly,
for South Africa.
exactly. And then we go to Afghanistan. They have Mujib and they have Rashid all along, right?
Deadly, deadly
We
combo.
spoke about, yeah, we spoke about a decent top seven
Yeah,
teams. Let us put it that way, right?
yeah.
Decent top seven teams. They all know leading up to the World Cup who's their lead spinner.
And
You
of
have
course, you have
IPL.
Bangladesh. You know, they've been minnows for in T20 for a long time, but they have always been with Shakib. He is, and let's be
Yeah, he's
fair,
more
he
or
is one
less
of the
like
top
a,
all rounders.
yeah, he's an all rounder. I mean, I wouldn't bring in Bangladesh into the conversation because they've been a horrible T20 team. Uh,
No, I understand that, but either way, been they've stuck with Shakib for several years, and now he is their captain. Let's face. So
Yeah, he's their captain. Yeah, but overall, except India, none of the top five nations at least have waffled around with their spinners. They all knew who is the one lead spinner who's going to play. If I ask England, there is no way they are going to say, "Oh, not sure about Adil Rashid." Same with Zampa. Same with Hazaranga. Same with Shadab Khan. In fact, they don't have IPL. You people have IPL in front of you, and all you have got is Chahal, a guy who can't field, a guy who can't hold the bat,
act-
and
actually,
and
I'd
and
like
when
to
has he proven that he's a good spinner?
actually I'd like to bring in the conversation here to these guys what they do in IPL. Adil Rashid had a few games at Kings 11 or Punjab Kings as we know them now, and yeah, he is not really he's nothing in IPL. Adam Zampa held one of the top four bowling figures in IPL. In fact, he played a lot of IPL at certain points. But Hasaranga is now at RCB. Rashid Khan is a IPL icon. Tikshana is now growing up at CSK. Uh, who else did we say? Keshav Maharaj is not in the IPL. So out of
Yeah,
the seven teams we're looking at, and out of seven teams we named 10 spinners probably. Out of those 10
easily. Yeah.
spinners, only two guys play IPL consistently. Three guys play IPL consistently. So we're looking at another
Yeah,
seven guys who are not playing at all.
exactly. Th- it's very obvious that when we bombast about IPL, the talent pool, blah blah blah, one actually you are not using it. In IPL, we
Yeah,
clearly saw the best leg spinner we had was Bishnoi, and then you brought him into Asia Cup. He showed what he has got. What
yeah.
the one question is how dumb you have to decide that Chahal is your lead spinner, go into World Cup, and then not allow him to play
Not
a
play
single
him.
game. No, it's almost like if you are working in an organization, if you select your team like this, don't you think people will look at you like a fool? We were so into Ravi Shastri to say you are dumb. What is Rahul Dravid? I mean, I will take out the aspect of uh, speaking about today we lost to South Africa. None of that matters. Even if we have won, right? Even if we end up winning this tournament, is this the right way to prepare? Where is the preparation? Who prepares like this? And the question again is when you play Ashwin and then you say, hey, we are playing him because we want his batting. Are you kidding me? At number 8, Do you think Ashwin is going to come in and change the course of the game?
Let's be fair,
When
he
has
won us a game
Ashwin done
against
that?
Pakistan.
Fine. That's probably the only game he could have done something wherein he scored that six. Ultimately, it came to that. But when you say you want Ashwin's batting, see, I will give it to you. Even if he says Shardul Thakur, I understand. Actually, he can bat better, and he can tonk sixes. Ashwin
Yeah.
doesn't do that. So why are you
Actually,
saying you are playing Ashwin because of his batting?
let's also look at the guys who are in the squad, right? Harshal Patel also has done decently as a batter, right? He's let's face it. I mean, his bowling has been quite awry the last few games, but he has shown that he can do something with the bat, and he has not even been given a shot with the bat in the last 2 months at all after his injury.
See, this is again a curious case, right? See, what I thought of Harshal is that he was a clever bowler, there is no doubt about it. But when the surface is flat, wherein the ball doesn't grip and hold, he has so many variations, as in slow balls, that are actually
Yeah.
not going to stick and make the batter think twice before they decide which shot they have to go with, right? If if Harshal has enough pace, something like Bumrah has, uh, or like Shaheen Shah Afridi has, right? So if you can bowl 140, 145, and then suddenly you are going to bring in that slower delivery, it is going to be worthwhile. Or you have to be canny like Bravo, wherein Bravo is not going to bowl those slower ones onto your patch, is going to bowl wide outside the off stump. And then suddenly he will bring a loopy one onto the middle stump. But Harshal, he keeps bowling all those slower deliveries onto the leg stump. And then almost on the pad of the batsman. How effectively will you be able to take wickets? And again, as I said, he's one dimensional. He does not have pace to work with. You come into Australia, you go to Brisbane, you go to Perth, even you go to MCG, wherein there is more spice on the wicket. How will you fit in Herschel? The problem is now
True.
Shami looks like a terrific bowler in Australian conditions because you hit the deck, you bowl the length, batsman cannot get away. Today, look at his figures: 4 overs, one for 13.
Fantastic.
Even I will raise my hands up and say I said no, don't bring in Shami. But again, the calculations were wrong. Looking at what he did in UAE and comparing with what he can do in Australia is not the right way to judge, right? So
Yeah.
he is better. I don't know. Maybe a bowler like Siraj will also be better here, right? I will tell you something.
Yeah.
Like Rohit, there is one more person in Bhuvneshwar Kumar who has done decently now. But let me tell you this: if you could open a bowler along with Arshal Patel, sorry, not Arshal Patel, Arshdeep Singh, if you can
Arshdeep Singh. Yeah.
open with a bowler like Praseed Krishna or Mohammad Siraj on these wickets, they will actually get you wickets. Today, what I saw with Bhuvi is that he was moving the ball around, but the batsmen were able to read him and say, I know this is an outswinger that is coming all along. If you don't get two, three wickets at the start on wickets like this, it is actually only going to add pressure.
Okay, I'd like to just complete that thing for you and finish this episode with a comparison. Having Bhuvaneshwar in Australia is pretty much like having Shami in England. You know they are going to be economical, but it doesn't matter unless you pick wickets in low scoring games.
Exactly. That's 100% true. Today, when you saw Arshdeep steaming in, you know there's going to be wickets, right?
Yeah,
The one problem with Bhuvi is the moment he sees there is some lateral movement in the air, he
yeah,
reluctantly avoids not to go to the attack. Rather, he bowls
yeah,
defensive lines. As in, there is movement. You could see that.
yeah.
But if you bowl it a little short, at that pace, the batsman will be easily able to judge whether it's coming in or going out.
Actually, he bowled much better against Pakistan. He actually aimed for the wickets against Pakistan. He actually
Exactly.
against Pakistan, you saw a lot of sting in the bowling attack. So
Exactly.
I think it's just
Today,
probably the
today, one way or the other, right? I saw Bhuvi being a little more defensive. I don't know if he could have attacked.
he could
Who
have
knows?
probably. My friends and I were watching it here. We also felt that maybe it's not the right thing. He could, but again, I don't want to be too critical of him. He's actually bowled well this World Cup, uh,
True.
regardless of what our thoughts were before this World Cup. So anyway,
True.
we have two games: Bangladesh at Adelaide and then Zimbabwe at MCG. Adelaide is Virat's favorite ground. Already he's scoring runs over here, so I think we can expect more over there. But anyway, we probably will have another pod after the group ends, and probably after the
Mhm.
semi-finals and the finals, and hopefully with the others around. Today,
Mhm.
uh, they did say that they'll try and join us if they could. At least senior did. So uh, we'll see. So at that point, we'll probably have another pod, right?
Mhm.
Uh, Great seeing you, and thanks uh, for inaugurating re-inaugurating Yorker Tales in a way after a long time. So
Pleasure, man. Pleasure.
thanks, man. See you guys.
Thank you so much. And yeah, at least till this World Cup, hope we will do a lot more conversations. And for everyone who's watching, whomsoever is watching, do stick around. I think
Yeah,
we will try to bring in lot more conversations
yeah.
heading into the interesting phase of